Hello and welcome to another Ask AJ with me and Amy. As you can hear, I'm a bit croaky today, so I've roped in Amy to help me with this because today we're going to be talking about buyers and what they're looking for right now, whether that is a permanent home, a second home or a holiday let. So we're going to focus on, in this Ask AJ, on holiday lets and second homes because so recently, Amy, what have you been seeing in terms of buyers? Are they generally looking for holiday homes or second homes or permanent homes?
So it has picked up overall with everything really recently. There's a mixture of everything, main homes, second homes, but we have definitely seen an increase in sort of people viewing for holiday lets and wanting like investments recently, which is nice to see.
That's good because the legislation really has been pretty brutal, hasn't it? And over the last year, it looks to me like it's much less attractive to have a holiday let. But then you've got to think about those people who are buying a second home who want to make it pay for itself or at least pay towards itself. Mm-hmm. Because if it costs, I don't know, £20,000 a year to own a second home in the Lakes, which is probably, that's probably for quite a small house really in terms of council tax and maintenance, etc. It makes sense to let it out and try and get 10, 15, £20,000 back and then only use it for the rest of the time. Are you seeing that? You've seen people talk about the sort of more commercial aspect of it, or are they just looking for a second home for themselves?
Yeah, no, definitely. Whenever people are looking for second homes, they often ask, oh, can it be rented out? Because they want that option, like you say, to make money back on it. But
and I suppose if it can't be let out, that does affect then the resale value, doesn't it? But if it can be let out, then and not all homes here in the Lake District can be let out, and I'm sure you know, some have got local occupancy clauses on them. And just other covenants that stop them being let out. Maybe they're in a little, I know, is it Crown Rig in Bowness has a covenant on it that can't be holiday let. And then there are some properties that the Lake District National Park in its wisdom has decided are only holiday lets and they can't be lived in. So, and everything in between. We've got a potential purchase at the moment that you might not know about because you've been off. That is where the buyer wants to buy it, but the buyer lives like 10 miles away and the local occupancy clause is like 5 miles radius. So it is a bit daft sometimes. Anyway, let's go back to second homes and holiday let. So let's say you're showing somebody around and they're thinking of either or, holiday let, second home, or a mixture of them both. What kind of things are they looking for? What are they asking you about?
So location, definitely. We see a lot of people looking for holiday homes in Windermere just because it's such a popular tourist destination. So yeah, people want to be in the popular spots or at least walking distance to the popular spots.
I've really noticed that. I've noticed that people want to be able to walk to pub, restaurant, cafe, don't they? They don't want to have to get in the car and drive somewhere, particularly with the summer traffic.
Yeah. And if you're booking a holiday let, you want to know that you're near everything. So I think that's what people want. Parking is always a handy one.
Yeah, that's interesting because if you go onto Airbnb and you want to go on to, to hire a holiday home or hire a house for a weekend or something, those are the things I look at. Like, can you walk to the town centre and can you park?
Yeah.
And they're like more important than anything else. I'll compromise on things like number of bedrooms or bathrooms, but sometimes you can't really compromise on parking and location.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, people think it's important.
So what else is important?
People obviously want to know like the figures and what they're getting into, so occupancy rates and forward bookings and the figures on income and expenditure and everything. So that's always important to know.
So I suppose it also depends on if it is a holiday let that's already trading, whether that uses an agency or whether they're self-managing. Because if it uses an agency, it doesn't matter where that buyer lives, but if they're self-managing, then that buyer probably needs to be a little bit more on the ground, don't they? So I think that's important. And some of the holiday lets agencies can charge 20-25% and more and have lots of restrictions on them. So that's something that's worth looking into as well. I know, for example, Unique Homestays, which is a fantastic holiday rental company and gets really, really good occupancy rates. You can't then use it if you are with Unique Homestays, and you also can't sell the house without paying a big penalty. So the flip side of that is somebody like, Retreats and Hideaways, which is a small local agency here, which is very close to us actually in Ashdown Jones. They have no restrictions on owner usage, and there's also no penalty if they decide to sell that house. So you look at the holiday let company that the property has been let out with or the way it's been managed, and then decide whether that fits with your plans and your lifestyle as well. I think that's quite important.
Yeah, definitely. And then other things just like the quality of like the finish and everything. People, if you kind of invest in the holiday let, people would rather it's ready to go, sold as seen, don't need to do much work to it, rather than being sort of, oh, we're going to need to fix this and this and this before we start seeing the money back on it.
So it's got to be well maintained, look good. What about things like furniture and, you know, the fittings in it? Do they tend to go with a second home?
Yeah, quite often it'll be sold as seen. Yeah, that's quite common.
Otherwise, I suppose you can have a break in the rentals, aren't you? And, you know,
Exactly.
there's a lot of faffing around, isn't there, trying to get it refurnished.
Whereas if they just buy it as is and they can keep the forward bookings and just get straight into it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anything else that we haven't really covered? I think that was pretty much everything, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, I think something we haven't mentioned is the way that the house looks. You know, excuse me, if you've got like a little roses around the door, little Lake District stone cottage, that is always going to rent out better than something that's maybe a bit more modern.
Yeah,
And something that's maybe a bit sort of, I don't know, like I love that 1960s look, but I know I'm in minority here. So 1960s, big windows, 4 bedrooms, decent sized garden. So if you're looking for a second home, maybe don't look at the aesthetics of a house, because what you really want is space, don't you? And you want to be able to bring all your family, and you want to be able to store things in the garage or whatever. Whereas actually, if you're looking to rent this property out to a holiday maker, they want cutesy, they want Lake District, they want, you know, little
cozy
bit
cottage feel.
They
for
do.
holiday.
Yeah, and they don't want this sort of the look that might be the more kind of modernist kind of architecture. So think about that too. If you're thinking about buying or selling, who your market is. So if you're selling a lovely little Lake District cottage and you're not currently renting it out, the buyers that we have for you are almost certainly looking at that home as a holiday let. Whereas if you've got a nice big sort of estate kind of house, then a second homeowner could still really make lots of use of that and treat it as a true second home and spend a lot of time there because they'll have the space and to be able to do that. So lots to think about, lots to consider. Thank you for your input on that. So if you're thinking about selling your Lake District home, whether that's big, small, cottage, holiday let, second home or permanent residence, then we'd love to talk to you. We can advise you about what the market's doing right now, and it's actually pretty buoyant right now, isn't it?
Definitely.
You've come back off holiday and we've got loads more offers, haven't
Offers
we?
here, there and everywhere, yeah.
Brilliant. So things are definitely moving. So if you were thinking about selling but you weren't quite sure whether this is the right time, then please do talk to us, because we can tell you exactly what is moving, what isn't moving, and what you should do about it. Thanks very much for watching this Ask AJ. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much, Amy.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.